There are killers who hide in the shadows, striking without a trace. There are those who make mistakes, leaving breadcrumbs for detectives to follow. But then, there are the ones who don't just kill, they play a game. They leave riddles, cryptic messages, and haunting clues, daring the police to catch them. But what happens when the police never do? This is the chilling story of the killer who taunted law enforcement, a predator who played with the authorities for years, yet was never caught. It started on a cold November night in 1986 in the quiet town of Red Hollow, Missouri. Lisa Thornton, a 27-year-old schoolteacher, was found murdered in her own home. The crime scene was gruesome. No forced entry, no signs of struggle. But on her bedroom mirror, written in bright red lipstick, were the words, "Catch me if you can." The police were baffled. There were no fingerprints, no DNA, no evidence to go on. It seemed like the perfect crime. The town, once known for its friendly neighborhoods and peaceful streets, suddenly felt unsafe. Doors that were once left unlocked at night were now bolted shut. Children were no longer allowed to walk home alone. The horror of Lisa's death cast a long, dark shadow over Red Hollow, and residents anxiously awaited answers that never came. Months passed. Then, another murder. A local journalist, David Morrison, was found dead in his apartment. This time, the killer left a message on his typewriter. "Too slow, detectives. Try harder." Now it was clear. This wasn't random. This was a game. The town reeled from the revelation. Reporters swarmed Red Hollow, eager to cover the macabre story of a murderer who mocked the police. News anchors warned viewers to stay vigilant, spreading fear with every headline. Some residents packed their bags and left town altogether. But for those who remained, a terrifying realization took hold. The killer was still among them, watching, waiting. As fear spread through Red Hollow, the killer escalated. He began sending letters to the police station, mocking their failed attempts to catch him. One letter read, "I walk among you. You see me, but you don't know me. I know you, though. I know where you sleep. I know your secrets." The town was gripped by fear. No one felt safe. And yet, despite increased patrols, private investigators, and nationwide media coverage, there were no suspects. No arrests. Nothing. Each letter was delivered with no fingerprints, no DNA, no evidence of any kind. Some were typed, others handwritten, as if the killer was intentionally proving how easily he could manipulate the investigation. For the police, the taunts were maddening. Every lead led to a dead end. Every clue unraveled into nothing. And through it all, the killer seemed to be enjoying himself. Detective James Calloway had been on the force for over 20 years, but he had never seen anything like this. The killer wasn't just careful. He was precise, methodical, always one step ahead. Every crime scene was spotless, every message deliberate. And the worst part? The victims had no apparent connection. It was as if the killer chose at random, playing a twisted game that only he understood. As weeks turned into months, Calloway became obsessed. He pored over the letters, the crime scenes, the timing of the murders. He stopped sleeping, stopped eating. He was determined to get inside the mind of the monster haunting his town. His obsession took a toll. His wife left, taking their 2 children with her. His colleagues whispered about him behind his back, saying he was losing his grip. But Calloway didn't care. He knew that to catch the killer, he had to think like him. He had to become him. But no matter how hard he tried, the killer remained just out of reach. Then one night, a breakthrough. A woman named Ellen Bridges reported a masked man watching her through her bedroom window. The description was vague, but it was the first real lead in months. The police acted fast, setting up surveillance around her house. For days, nothing happened. Then, just as they were about to pull out, they saw him. A tall figure, dressed in black, standing in the shadows. Watching, the officers moved in, but as they reached the spot, he was gone. In his place, on the ground, was a single playing card, the Joker, and scribbled on the back, "Nice try." Months passed with no new murders. No letters. It was as if the killer had vanished into thin air. Some believed he had moved on. Others feared he was simply waiting. Then, one final letter arrived. "The game was fun, detectives. But you were never really close, were you? I'm not in Red Hollow anymore, but I'll always be watching. Who knows? Maybe I'll visit again someday. Until then, good luck. The letter was postmarked from a different state, North Carolina. But there was no return address. No leads. Just the same, familiar handwriting. And just like that, he was gone. Decades have passed, but the case remains unsolved. No arrests. No clues. No justice. Some say he died. Some say he disappeared into a new life. Others believe he never stopped, just moved to a new hunting ground. But one thing is certain. Somewhere out there, the killer who taunted the police is still free. And he might not be finished. What do you think happened to the Red Hollow killer? Did he truly disappear? Or is he still lurking in the shadows, watching, waiting for his next move? Let us know your theories in the comments. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. We have even more terrifying stories to uncover.